In this video, we'll be looking at the basics of the Latin cases system. Before we start, I want to give you this free endings table to have to hand while we go through these cases. It's a really simple and clear one-page PDF cheat sheet which you can have right there next to you to help guide you through these cases as we look at them. Get it in the description below right now before we start. Hi everyone, welcome back to Bambast Bat. Today I'm going to show you some easy ways to translate the 5 Latin cases, as well as a hidden 5th case you might never have seen or you might have just completely forgotten about. If you want more explanation about how the cases work and how to recognise them, check out my other videos where I go into this in more detail for each case individually, and a link to each of those videos is in the description. So lots of people come up against the same problem in Latin. They don't understand how to order their translation. This is often because word order doesn't matter in Latin. You can jumble all the words around and the sentence will still mean the same thing. Let me show you what I mean. Here are 3 versions of the same sentence. Now they all mean the same thing, despite the fact all the words are in different orders. They all mean the master gave the slave's letters to the girl. This is one of the reasons that the endings of words are so important. The endings change depending on a word's function in the sentence. As you can see, each noun has a different ending, and these tell me where to put them in my translation. So to start off, these are the 5 cases that you must know in Latin. I'm just going to focus on the first, second and third declensions for this video, and I'll give you two third declensions to show you the different stems that you can have. But if you want to see examples of the 4th and 5th declensions, then check out my other videos. Now the nominative is the noun which is the subject of the sentence. This is the one that's in charge of the verb. So here's an example. The master gave the slave's letters to the girl. The master is in charge. The singular nominatives are what you will find in dictionaries, and the plural ones you will just have to learn. The accusative is the noun which receives the action. Now this noun cannot be in charge of the action, so make sure you don't ever put puellam as the subject in your translation. In this example, the master gave the letters of the slaves to the girl. The letters are the object because they're being given. The genitive case shows possession. In my example, it's the slave's letters, or the letters of the slave. The slave is in the genitive case, so I know that the letters belong to him. The genitive ending is often found in the dictionary next to the nominative. You'll find the genitive singular ending. This is because it shows whether the stem of the word changes at all, and also helps you just to put it into the correct declension in case you haven't recognized the nominative singular. The dative is what's called the indirect object of the verb. They're not the subject, but they're also not the direct object of the sentence because that's the accusative. So you've got to always keep 2 or 4 in your mind for this one. That's the best translation of a dative case. So in this example, it was the master gave the letters of the slave to the girl. She is the dative, she's the indirect object. Some verbs actually take the dative, which means you should expect a dative case noun after you see it. If you want some extra examples of that, go and have a look at my video about the dative case. And here are the endings that you need to be aware of. Don't worry about writing these down, by the way, just make sure you've downloaded that cheat sheet from the description and the whole thing is there for you in beautiful Technicolor. Now the ablative is a really useful case which can have lots of meanings, and here are the main ones to keep in mind: by, with and from. It shows location in time or place, but it can also be instrumental. In this case, in this example, the master walked with the woman. So woman would be in the ablative, and we've added in the word with because it makes sense from the case. However, it can also be with a preposition like cum, which means with, or it can be on its own. So you need to be able to recognize the endings of the ablative. And here they are. If you want any other examples of prepositions, then check out the video on the ablative by itself. Otherwise, let's just keep going. So now to the case that everyone forgets, the vocative case. This is the one that you need for talking directly to someone. It's often easy to spot as it's in speech marks, but it can also be found in speeches or legal cases, so it might not have them if it's in a bigger text. So it's used when talking to someone, and Cicero uses it a lot when talking directly to the judges in his court case. For example, in this sentence, you should know, judges, this case is already settled. So the word judges would be in the vocative case. Luckily, it's the same as the nominative case for the first and third declension, so the second declension is the one to look at here. Now, if we put all those things together, we come up with this table. Do go and download it from the link in the description. It's so important that you're familiar with these. They are by far the most common endings for nouns in Latin. As I said before, there's also the fourth and fifth declension nouns, but they aren't as common. I'll be explaining these in a future video, fourth and fifth declension nouns, which you can find on my channel. Let's have a look at recognizing some cases. Here are 4 sentences. For each noun, see if you can figure out the case. There's a vocabulary list down the side, which gives you the nominative singular endings for each noun. This will help you to find the right column on the endings table to look down. Then it's just a question of matching the endings and picking the one that makes most sense if there's more than one option. So pause the video here to give yourself time to have a go. Match those endings with the ones on the downloadable table. If you don't want to have a go on your own, I'm going to go through this now. For number 1, servus is nominative singular. It has the us ending of the second declension. The slave is in charge of this sentence. Puellas is first declension accusative plural. They are the object of the sentence. So this sentence means the slave greets the girls. For number 2, mercatores is nominative plural. It could also be vocative or accusative. However, no one's being directly addressed and the verb is plural, so it's more likely to be the nominative, which has to match the verb. Dominis is second declension and could be dative or ablative. Because I know the verb means gives, I can assume that to or for is a better option than by, with, or from. So that one's my dative plural. Epistulas is the first declension accusative plural, and it's the object of my sentence. So the sentence means the merchants give the letters to the masters. Number 3, puella here is the first declension. It could be nominative, vocative, or ablative. It's in speech marks and someone is saying, hello, salve. So I can assume this is the vocative singular. The girl is being addressed. And this sentence means, hello, girl. It's kind of a weird one to say, but it illustrates my point. Finally, number 4, there are 2 sentences in this one. Bellum is second declension neuter and could be nominative, vocative, or accusative. Now, scium is an adjective that describes this noun, and the verb is singular, so I have to assume that bellum is the nominative singular because there's nothing else in this sentence and s doesn't need to take an object. The second sentence has hostes as the nominative plural, and again I'm using the plural verb to tell me that my nominative must be plural, and this is the only option that can be. Feminas has to be the accusative plural, so the women are the object of the sentence, and gladiis is the dative or ablative plural. Since cum means with, I know that gladiis is the ablative case, as that's one of the translations I can use for an ablative. So this sentence means the war is savage. The enemies kill women with swords. So there you have it. I hope this was a helpful overview of Latin cases. For a more detailed delve into each case, you can watch the specific videos I've mentioned that I've made for each one, and the links are in the descriptions below. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Bam Bass Bat.